All right, let's go to the Big Ten West before we get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Chryst gets fired, which is pretty interesting. George, I think you just talked to the interim head coach.
Yep.
Minnesota, doing a nice little job. I think we all feel good about them up
DJ
until
Fleck.
last weekend. We thought we knew what
Yeah.
they were. George might have
Yes.
penciled them into the playoff. The one-loss
Yep.
team now. I don't know if they'll be able to get in, but maybe they will. We'll see. And then who wins the division? Like, what do we think? Who can come out of this thing? Because you look at the standings, you got Northwestern and Nebraska at the top. Granted, we're in week 6, so it means minimal. But where do we net out? Felder, I'll give you the floor for 2.5 minutes, and then George, take us home.
The big thing for me, I'm looking at who does Wisconsin hire. I've said Dave Clawson. I think Narduzzi's an interesting one.
Mm.
I'm also curious about someone like a Kiffin or a Brom. Because if you're going to bail completely on what you've been, then be completely different. So that's interesting to me. I think Jonathan Smith from Oregon State's also interesting. So and he's done an amazing job, which I don't think we give him enough credit, and we certainly didn't spend enough time talking about him tonight. So I'm going to do that. Minnesota, I still think Minnesota wins. And to wrap it up, Yogi, I know that Northwestern's listed as the lead, but I mean, we've all seen them play, and it's not great.
Yeah. I don't know who's going to get to that title game, but whoever on the other side is probably going to win it.
I honestly, that's the big so the Big Ten's been really smart and really progressive in these last 5-10 years. Their last thing they need to do is break up their divisions. It just doesn't make sense. It's so East heavy that some years Michigan State as a 4th team could go over there and beat whoever. It's just not fair. They need to do away with that. Keep your rivalries. Keep your rivalries. Just mix it all up and play. But it just doesn't make sense that you have the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Red Sox, and the Giants all on one side, and they all have to squeeze through each other just to get to the championship of your own league. It just doesn't make sense. So they should get that done. And to Wisconsin, you got your own right there. And Jim Leonard, just like Dave Aranda when he was the DC at Wisconsin, these guys are like, they're brilliant. Leonard played there, starred there. He knows Wisconsin, and the high school coaches love him. Now, you could, Felder, and they are going to have to go out and interview some folks. Brom, no. I just don't see that. They want to get pass happy, and it fits Purdue, and that's just their thing. Kiffin, could he come up there and make a lot of noise? Would you go up to Wisconsin? Why you would stay at Ole Miss? To me, they're equal weight. They're equal weight. Clawson, I like it because Wake Forest is a step up. Luke Fickell, you'd have to call immediately. And then, just like if I was at Nebraska, I would make Mark Stoops say no. Who doesn't want that brand of ball? He fits him, but really now you're talking energy, culture, fire, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't know if you can go 5 wide at Wisconsin, play in, play out. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. You look, Gary Anderson left after going to the Big Ten title game. Brett Bielema left. Like, there's, you're always going to be behind a couple big brands in that league. And to your guys' point, you have to have a specific approach to you. I think a lot of the names rung true. I hope Pat Narduzzi doesn't leave my Pitt Panthers. But it's wild that here we are in week 6 and there's 5.
Is that in the discussion? Narduzzi's in the discussion?
I always brought his name up.
Yeah,
I think everybody's
that name out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think all these lists are like whatever now. Like, it's so early. Like, everybody's name's on them, and rightfully so. But who really knows? I just can't believe that there's 5 jobs. 5 jobs open
already.
Like, how many jobs are open in the NFL?
You a head start.
Bro, how many jobs are open in the NFL?
Who's the 5th?
0. Like, it's just
0?
What's the professional sport? Like
Nebraska, Wisconsin, Arizona State, Colorado, and who?
Say it again.
Nebraska, Wisconsin, Arizona State, Colorado, and who's the 5th?
Nebraska.
2 in the
Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech.